Now, weeping willow, Salix babylonica, it makes great bonsai if you know what to do with it. So let's just do a little video on a weeping willow, just so you can see how we like to do them, and we'll see how we get on.
Actually quite like that.
I've had it sat around for ages, and I've not really done anything with it, so I thought, oh, we may as well do something, you know. Shame to just have it sat and not style it. Some nice enough carving work been done through here with all these hollows and stuff, you know.
Did you do that?
No, I didn't. It wasn't. No, it wasn't me. It wasn't
No.
me. No. Cheers for that.
I knew before I asked.
Why did you? I can do that. I can do that.
I know.
Get lost, you.
Make a crown up here. Are you still wanting to leave this high? Or you want to pull it down?
Not quite that high, no. But I tell you what the key thing is, and the key thing we want to do on the video today, is we just want to let people know that when you're working with weeping willow, these things are not heavy enough to weep naturally, so we have to make them weep.
We're going to need to do some loose wiring on this, like, so don't put your wire on too tight, because I'm assuming these are going to keep elongating and growing and thickening.
Do you know what? I reckon, because we're in August now, I reckon the majority of the growing for the year has already been done. But in terms of loose wiring, you're right, because this stuff is still, it's very soft, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? And it's by no means fully hardened off yet, but we still want to wire it, even though it's not hardened off, which is a bit more unusual because we don't always do that, do we? Quite often when we're wiring, we wait for things to harden off before we wire them, but with these, it's slightly different.
Yeah, it's just to prevent biting in, isn't it?
It is, yeah, it is. The wire we'll be using on these little ones here is probably the 1.5mm wire, so we'll pop some of those on. So keep it nice and loose. There's no point making it bone crushingly tight for this. You can pick some of these little leaves off the beginning section if you want to, that's fine.
This is to make applying wire
Just a little bit,
easier for you, Ted.
Exactly.
And you really are making this nice and loose, aren't you?
There's no point making it any tighter. It's not. You'll see that it's not a permanent feature. You'll see what I mean when we talk about it later. And then what we've got to do then is just simply bend it down. You know, support it on its journey over, and then we've created the illusion of the weight of the branches, pulling the branches downwards, and there we go. And you've made your weeping willow weep.
So that'd be this as well, or is that about already?
Well, do you know what we were just talking about, folks, right? We've got these nice small dainty ones here, which we're quite fond of, to be fair. And there's some nice small dainty ones here as well. But then there's these great big long chunkers, right? So if we do the same thing that we're doing down here, and then we lash this one down, it totally throws out the sense of scale. Do you see what I mean? You've got nice small foliage, nice delicate stuff, and then this big heavy stuff. So I think we're going to say goodbye to the really energetic long shoots just off there, because we've got those nice small ones inside. Can you see them? Just these things.
What we're thinking is, would you need to wire all your new stuff? Because if this main stem that it's coming off of is naturally coming down, isn't everything else going to naturally just fall down?
To some extent, yeah, but I don't think you're still going to get the trail in it. For example, if it pops out of here,
yeah, then
it's still going to come up here.
Yeah,
do you see what I mean? So yeah, you do go
but
through that cycle again and again.
Over the arch that's going directly down after that.
Yeah.
Would you still need to?
Not if it's doing the habit that you want it to do.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what percentage of them will help you out and do that.
So you won't have to wire the whole thing again.
Not necessarily, but I think you'd still end up. I still think you'd end up doing the majority of it. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
Tell you what, they are buggers for dropping branches.
Yeah.
They're a real pain.
We did take a couple of little bits off, didn't we, as we were going through?
Oh, look at this.
Just dropped. What we're looking at?
That big dead branch there.
Oh, this whole thing, yeah.
There's another one hanging around at the back there as
back
well.
here, yeah.
And I'll tell you another problem that you have. Quite often people use cuttings, you know, for these, because you can get a cutting that's really thick to root just in water. So basically you get some willow branches, you just saw them off a tree, right, and you chuck them in a bucket of water, and within a month you've started to get roots through, and within about 3 months it's a bucket full of water, bucket full of roots. Do you see what I mean?
Right.
And that looks like it's going to be great, but I find that those things tend to do all right for a while, but then they just die. It's happened to me loads. Whether it's just me, I don't know, but I've seen it happen loads of times. I go up to a willow tree, ask somebody if I can cut some branches off, bucket of water, And then after a while, full of roots, I thought it was going really well. Yeah, I think it's going really well. And then all of a sudden, bump, bump, bum, and they all die. And I was quite careful as well, because I carefully took them out of the bucket of water and transplanted some soil in there as well. But it was still a really damp soil mix.
Yeah.
So whether it was just me and I was unlucky, I don't know. I need to try again and find out what happens. But it was a major pain, because I thought I'd made some really nice things and I was really pleased with them, you know. Yeah, I was. Might just have been me. Guess we'll find out. So, the thing is, right, you've got to do this every year. You can't get away with just doing it once, right?
Is it like to spring back up?
I'll tell you why, right? This year, this is the growth coming down to here, right? So, in the winter, this would harden off, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
The leaves would come off because it's deciduous.
Yeah.
So then this thing will be here, right? Next year, where's it going to shoot from? If that's still there.
Well, it depends, doesn't it? 'Cause you could either get backwood in.
Yeah.
Does it backwood well?
It's not bad, yeah. It's not bad. It's not bad. But what will happen is it'll shoot from here and here and here. So then you'll end up down here. Do
Yeah.
you see what I mean? And before you know it, you're past the level of the pot, right? So what you want to do is every year in the winter, prune back up to here. Do you see what I mean? So you come back to a shorter amount, and then when the spring springs, out it comes again. Do you see what I mean?
But isn't it going to naturally just come down since the main of the stem is folded down?
It is, but look at this one here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to get the majority of the shooting coming from down here, aren't you? Because most trees, as we know, grow on the end of their existing branches, don't they?
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? So what will happen then is you'll get this hitting the deck. So what I like to do is every year is come back up to about this point here.
So
Right?
it has room.
And then 1 and 2 and hopefully 3 and 4 will come out. So the year after, you increase the number of downward.
Yeah, so it becomes more dense.
More dense, yeah.
Yeah,
So the thing to do then is every year, cut this back, and then every year rewire the long shoots
The
coming
new
down.
stuff,
So you do it every year. Do you see what I mean?
Right?
And that's how it's done.
What we've done with this is, like we've said before, is we took off the thicker branches that we didn't think it required, and we've kept the nice delicate stuff and just wired them all down, haven't we? And then, well, that's it for this, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're just going to leave this, let it keep growing,
Yeah.
like you say. Once they've fixed in place, which could be 6 months.
Well, it'll never really get a chance to. This wire will be on until the winter, and then it'll just come off again.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? And then
Because you're going to whack it back,
yeah,
ready for next year.
Correct. We'll just keep reapplying the wire. So it's a once a year job basically, but it's a nice job once a year, you know.
Yeah.